time today. Here we go then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are go in Canada. It looks as though Brindy's got a pretty decent start, as has the Bennett again. Always seems to be getting a good start. I was going to say Bunny, but he kind of didn't really push on from what looked like a good launch. Bennett trying to go around the outside of Bunny by the looks of things, not quite getting the move done. The time is already buggering up, so I was trying to get the action. As we've got a McLaren there. Massey completely cut in the corner, going onto the grass. It looks as though the top four have remained the same, but Bennett's had a brilliant start as usual, getting past the McLaren of Massey at least. I can't entirely remember where Bennett started. Bennett's already up 2, there you go. So JH and Massey both losing position. Riggsy's down 3. I don't know if you've caught that, James, but he's not had a brilliant start,
I did,
unlike he normally does. How was it then, James? How was Rigsy's start?
Clock's either hit the back of Wrangler or he's got extremely close. Yeah, it did look like a terrible start from Riggsy, but McEwen got a brilliant launch and just went up the middle of him and Liam, I want to say. But then, yeah, Wrangler got round his outside and then inside at the turn 1 and 2 complex, and then Clock got up his inside into turn 3. So he was just sort of in the wrong place at the wrong time, really, and yeah, lost a few places. But Gunnar also got damage, I believe, hitting the back of Riggs, and now Van Dorn is trying to go around his outside, but that's not worked out for him. It's getting quite tasty at the back end of the field.
Yeah, JH just got past Massey, James, who's down 2 off the start. Massey just seems to be a bit slower compared to qualifying already. He had Liam right in the back of him through turn 2. The Avatari did just nudge the back of the McLaren there, and then McEwen had a look down the inside for turn 3. Like you say, yes, Sem and Carlin both up 3, or they were until Sem's now past Carlin and up 4. Liam already picking up a time penalty. We did say that warnings are a rather common occurrence around here. So yeah, Riggsy down 3, which means McEwen, Wrangler and Clock all up 1. Van Dorn as well up 2 off the start. Morgan down 5, but he did get damage, I think you said. Top 4 remain the same, but Bennett up 2, and now we've got McEwen having a little look at Liam, who's gone defensive into the chicane, but he's able to pull back onto the racing line to take the optimal line through the corner. Brinny Boy 12.2 fastest lap there, which of course will be the case because it's the second lap and he's in the lead, or generally that is the case anyway. Yeah, we've already got Danny and Morgan dropping a little bit off the back of the rest of the field, who are remaining relatively in touch. We've got yellow flags though, and that's Carlin round on the exit of turn 2. Has he got any damage, James?
I'll just have a look for you as well, but no, I'm not sure if Morgan's actually in the session. I invited him back, and I'm not sure if he's rejoined, but no visible damage for the second racing point of Carlin, so I think he's got away with that one. Although, of course, losing a heap of time.
JH has got it all wrong through the chicane there, hitting the wall on the exit of turn 9, and Massey's gone for the move, but JH is coming back at him down the inside into the hairpin, and he's going to get the traction on the McLaren, is he? It's going to be a drag race down the back straight, but it looks as though Massey deploying a lot of his battery, but he has got the move done. He's made one of those positions that he lost on the opening lap back. He's now up into P6, and he's got a bit of a job on his hands now to try and keep on to the coattails of Bennett, who's already or who's right on the back of Bunny. Sorry, Bunny has dropped off Czech, interesting enough, and Czech's dropped just out of DRS range of Dylan. So we've got the top 2 now pulling away, so the field after 3 laps already starting to spread out, and it's really spread out a lot in just that last lap, because they were all a lot closer at the end of lap 2. But there we go then. Yeah, we've got Bennett really pressurising the back of the Mercedes of Silly Bunny, as Clock's now the second driver to pick up a time penalty this evening. Bennett does seem to have some pretty decent pace, James, so I wonder if he's going to try and make a move. Of course, he then makes a mistake as soon as we say that. That's generally what happens.
Sticking with Brindy nicely, actually, as well, with almost full battery as well. So Dylan's obviously got some very nice race pace, although having said that, Brindy's got a lot of his battery as well, but it looks like those two at the moment, Czech not quite able to stick with them. And yeah, a few
Sem and Clock battling, James, for P14. Sem looking to make another position up on those mediums. He's going to go down the inside of Clock into the chicane. He's completely missed his braking point. Nearly hit Van Dorn. Van Dorn's had to cut the track to avoid Sem. Sem's picked up a penalty for his troubles, and now Connor has gotten past the McLaren driver. And Van Dorn, I think, has got an illegal overtake or something, because he's dropped back a hell of a lot. Lost a load of positions, which is really silly because Van Dorn hadn't actually been overtaken by anyone. So that's a rotten look there for the AlphaTauri.
Liam with another penalty,
5 or 6 positions. Ranger as well, just picking up 1, but yeah, Liam 6 seconds already. That is not great from him. Bunny now 2 seconds off the back of his teammate and Czech, who are running second and third. As you say, yeah, Dylan sticking onto the back of Brindy relatively well here. We've got JH
identical as well, 11.9s from the pair of them.
We've got JH and Massey there, sort of rekindling this battle that's been commencing since the start of the race. JH got the DRS, he's using some of his battery as well. I think he's going to have a go into the chicane, although Massey does seem to have great straight line speed. But if you look there, the red light already flashing on the back of that McLaren, which means he's under 20% of his ERS. JH, though, down the inside into the chicane, gets the move done. Ballsy move there from JH, but nice one at that. Both drivers leaving each other some good racing room there. So a fair and competitive battle between the pair of them, and JH getting the move done up into P6 now for the Red Bull driver, back to where he started.
Whilst all that's been going on, Czech has caught right up to the leaders. He's now in the DRS. I can't say if I've just been a bit cheeky or not. I presume he's engineering Dylan because he's asking for Brindy's ERS, but it's good for both the top two, and Czech's is pretty healthy as well, actually. Bunny just doesn't seem to have any response to those three, and he's got Bennett for company as well. But yeah, not really many overtakes happening out front. Although from the looks of things, Dylan might be trying his luck on Brindy boy in the coming laps.
Ooh.
Obviously, pit stop's coming up soon as well, Harry.
Mistake at the hairpin, and McEwen might have a run, so Massey might be losing another position here, but I think McEwen's a bit of a way back. Although look at this, the overspeed that the Haas has got on the McLaren driver is ridiculous, and he's going to be past him already into the braking zone. Great move there from McEwen, but he gets a time penalty on the exit of the chicane. As you say, start at lap 7, and we've already got someone in the pits. That is Liam. Like I said earlier, the undercut pretty powerful around here, and it is the pit window, so the pit window will have opened around about now. So Liam pulling the trigger there, the first driver in. What tyres is he going on to, James?
Oh, can I get to him in time? It is the medium tyres, so that's looking like a softs, mediums to me, with the two-stop strategy. I should think one of these leaders is going to be pitting probably this lap to maybe try and undercut, or for Brindy to fend off an undercut. But yeah, either way, it's shaping up to be a tasty battle out front.
We've got Clock and Predators. We're just having a bit of an exchange there. Of course, former teammates. No love lost between the pair of them by the looks of things. Predators has now got a bit of pressure from behind, or more from the side, with Danny having to go round the outside into the hairpin. Predators, though, defending it nicely, but it's going to be a switchback attempt from the Renault driver, who's running pretty low on his ERS.
Well, the top three stay out.
I don't think he's going to get the move done, which he doesn't. It looks like everyone's staying out for at least a little while. Although, there we go, we've got Haas into the pits. That is Ranger into the pits, and he's followed by Rigsy as well. Sem getting another time penalty. Predators with a bit of a poor run through the chicane, and it looks as though Danny's going to come back at him, have another go into turn 1. The Renault down the inside of the Ferrari, brakes later, gets the move done. Nice move there from Danny. Up past Predators, who's now battling it out with Van Dorn as they go round turn 3. They're going to be going side by side into 3 and 4. Predators backing out. Van Dorn getting the move done, but cutting the corner in the process. He is, though, up into P14. Top 3 all staying out, like you say, but they're starting to spread out a little bit, James.
Yeah, and I think a couple of them have indicated to pick this lap. Check looks like he's got that blue wrench or spanner, whatever tool it is. I'm not good with tools, but yeah, he's got that, so he's indicating he's wanting to pick this lap. They all seem to, spread out a bit this lap. But,
yeah, Bennett dropped a long way off, Bunny, James.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's made a mistake, because he was
Dylan
and we've got Dylan and Czech going for the undercut on Brindy, who stayed out an extra lap. Brindy's got a little bit less battery than Dylan, but it's not too bad. He's also got the fuel light on, so Brindy obviously under fueling his car.
Who was the first guy to pit? It was Liam, wasn't it? But Ranga looks like
Liam, yeah.
Liam's.
He's got more penalties coming up.
Interesting to see where Ranga comes out in relation to like the clock.
It's going to
And
take a while, I
Jay.
think, to establish a firm running order, considering how sort of out of sync everyone will be with the pit stops. Because these guys on the mediums they'll be going till, you know, around like 15 or so. So yeah, Bunny has kind of found himself in a bit of no man's land. Bennett's pitted, going for the undercut on the Mercedes driver. And I can see why Brindy Boy did stay out an extra lap, James, because if you look, Dylan and Czech have found themselves in the midst of this train that's led by SLR Connor, who started on the mediums and is driving a pretty nice race at the moment. And Dylan's completely missed his braking point, almost hitting the back of Van Dorn. Big mistake there, but he's somehow gotten away with it. So yeah, Czech and Dylan both split at the moment by the Renault of Danny, so that's definitely going to be compromising them. They need to try and get through this traffic as quick as possible, because these guys are also on mediums and won't be pitting for a while. Brindy has now pitted, so this is really it. This is crunch time. Is Brindy going to be getting out ahead of Dylan and Czech? This is crucial
super
for
safe
the race.
Into the pits as well.
Dylan down the inside of Van Dorn into turn 1, and Brindy is going to stay in the lead. But the car directly behind him is going to be SLR Dylan. So this battle should resume, as Brindy's still got Sem and Connor ahead of him, or directly ahead of him at least, as Bunny stayed out another lap, James. So I wonder if Bunny might be going for a one-stop here.
Yeah, he might be trying it, but yeah, the traffic extremely instrumental in determining who came out ahead there. I think with a couple less cars in the way, it would have been Dylan for sure, but yeah, not quite getting the most out of that undercut that you can, just because of the cars in the way. Although, having said that, there's now Connor and
Chet's going to go for it, James. Down the inside, big move, big dive down the inside, but it's a good move. Clean as you like. He's really got to try and get through this traffic as quick as possible, because he can't afford to lose touch to Bunny, Dylan, sorry, and Brindy. Bunny has now pitted. That's why I mentioned him. Chet's having a look at Van Dorn, trying to put him off. It looks as though it's worked. He's got to get this done, though, into turn 1. Brindy's going for it on Sem as well, just up ahead. Czech past Van Dorn. Sem and Brindy going side by side, and Brindy muscles his way past Sem, and now it's his teammate up ahead. So a bit of team orders might be needed down at Williams to get Brindy past his teammate and give him a bit of breathing room.
Bunny gets so close to the back of Sem, Mario. Also, that's Dylan
behind Sem.
Nice one.
Yeah, Bunny's lost out massively there. He's pitted a couple of laps later than Bennett, and he's been jumped by him. We just saw on the timing screens a few moments ago, Riggsy was battling out with Liam and Massey, so Riggsy's passed the pair of them or something. I don't entirely know, I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah, team orders definitely going to be needed down in the Williams camp, as it looks as though Brindy's right on the back of Connor. He's got a lot more ERS, and Connor's already pulling out of the way to let his teammate through. Smart driving there from the team.
Yep, I'll be doing the exact same if it was my teammate.
Should be just about able to stay in P3 as Dylan's down the inside of Sem. Good move from Dylan. He's trying his hardest to keep in check with his teammate, as Connor's actually not got the DRS, so Dylan's going to be going at him round the outside at turn 1. It becomes the inside for turn 2, and he's going to get it done. Is Dylan. Great move from him
to keep
his hopes of keeping up with Brindy alive, as Sem and Connor having a bit of a moment there, a bit of contact between the pair of them, and now that's put Czech right on the back of Sem. Are we going to see a move from Czech down into turn 6? Kind of, but Sem defends it, and now down into the chicane of 8 and 9. Czech's going to have the inside line, and he's going to get the move done. So all these guys really pushing it to try and keep up with the various drivers with whom they are battling it out with.
Van Dorn down the inside of Danny. Yeah, he's made the move, I think, although Danny's going to come back at him on the straight. Obviously, these two haven't pitted yet, so I guess they are kind of in the same race as these guys if they decide to go hard and do the one stop.
Not quite able to get the move done this time is Danny, but Sem's had a poor run through the chicane. Van Dorn got a great run, but hit the back of the McLaren and lost an end plate. That's going to give Danny the advantage. He's got past Van Dorn now, the Renault driver. All these guys up a fair few positions off of the start. We got some clarification on the little blue symbol for you there, James Midzi, informing us it's a spanner. So there you go, just to clear that one up. We've got Brindy now has caught right up to the back of SLR Gunnar. Gunnar, in fact, pulling out of the way.
He knows where his fight is, Gunnar. That's smart driving.
Yeah, smart driving.
Just try and stick with him if you can, I guess.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for that from Gunnar. Respectful driving. It does mean that now Dylan is in a position where there's still a car between himself and Brindy, but he has got the DRS of the car ahead. Brindy might be a smart idea to try and use some of his battery to pull away and bridge that gap, because if it's anything, you know, just over a second, then I'd still fancy Dylan's chances at getting back into the DRS. We've got Sem and Connor resuming their battle, at least in sorts, as Connor gets a bit of a poor exit out of the chicane, and Sem's going to go for it down the inside into turn one. Connor giving him a little bit of a squeeze, but not quite as bad as we've seen around this track, of course, in real life.
For a wing change.
Notably, Button and McLaren in
penalty for Brindy boy.
When Button pitted about 4 times and served 2 drive-throughs and still won the race. We've got a Haas bringing some yellow flags out in sector 1. That was Ranger. I think he's had a bit of a moment, maybe a bit of contact there.
Brindy boy with a penalty.
Yeah, so Brindy boy with a penalty, and check going down the inside of Gunnar. It just flashed in front of me as I was trying to get to the front 2. Dylan nearly in the DRS range of the Williams. In fact, the detection zone for the back straight is extremely early, and it's just off the exit of turn 9. And that means that Dylan isn't going to get the DRS this time round. Czech has dropped massively off the back of these guys, but he's got a bit of breathing room. The next car that is in sync is Bennett in P8. We've got yellow flags now in sector 2. Carlin and Van Dorn have had a bit of an incident there. I didn't catch it, but they both stopped to record it. Morgan running P18 at the moment in a bit of no man's land, and then it's Ranger after seemingly a bit of an incident there. Sem and Predators both in the pits. Sem is back out on another set of mediums. Predators has changed his front wing.
Reckon we can get the tyres up, Harry?
Yes, we can. Where are we? There we are. Everyone on the mediums apart from Predators, who's on the soft. But of course, some on far older mediums than others. Like I say, we're not going to get a complete idea of the order, I don't think, until towards the end of the race. Rixie driving a good race at the moment. P10 at the moment, yet to get a penalty. So we've got a few drivers still without penalties. That will, of course, well, you'd hope, play into their hands come the end of the race. Dylan not able to sit with Brindy boy though, by the looks of things, James, as we've got Bennett going down the inside of Danny into the chicane. Got it done. Nice move. Good driving between the pair of them. And now Bunny's going to try and go for the Renault driver as well. Yeah, to his credit, he's looked very clean when driving wheel to wheel, has Danny so far, as he just taps the back of Bunny there. Although I think Bunny's kind of got the move done there. I think you're always going to get a little bit of a rough and tumble when you're driving wheel to wheel, but nothing too untoward between the pair of them. Yeah, it's been a pretty clean race from what we've seen so far. At least what I've seen. I don't know if there's been some stuff going on that we might have missed, but yeah, it's definitely been a lot better than last week anyway. As now McEwen has passed Danny as well, so it looks as though those mediums, 15-lap old mediums that the Renault drivers on, are starting to deteriorate and fade away. The only 2 drivers further ahead of him that are on the same lap old mediums are Gunnar and Connor. Gunnar, in fact, driving a very nice race up in P4 at the moment, 2 seconds ahead of the Williams driver SLR Connor. We got Bennett going for the move on Connor, and he's trying to hold it around the outside of Connor, but Bennett had the inside line, got the move done, and Connor's had, unfortunately, a compromised exit there, and Bunny's gotten past him. And Danny and Gunnar now both pitting, so there we go. Then maybe they were listening to us. Tyres obviously just had enough, but they've driven a very good first stint, the pair of them. Split strategy between the pair.
I like that from Gunnar, you know, how he's gone aggressive.
Softs, Danny going on to the mediums. You can do soft.
Yeah.
So maybe that's maybe Gunnar's thinking softs to the end. Ranger in the pits as well onto a set of softs.
18 laps left, so 9 on each set. That should be more than doable. I like that from Gunnar. He's going aggressive. He could have quite easily gone to the end on a set of hards, but yeah, as we mentioned earlier before the race began, it was supposed to be a lot slower on the hards. So just getting a bit of talking chat about rain. See Mitzi mentioned.
Yeah, I was about to.
Yeah, no sort of.
I was about to
sign of
say.
it yet,
I was about to say. You know, Van Dorn's on the hard, so I wonder if he's going to the rain. But Mitzi just said it's not raining. Now, I don't know whether it's not raining now, or whether it's not going to be raining. But yeah, it's not raining now.
I think they're talking about tyres.
I mean, sure.
And wet tyres or something. Oh, I don't know.
And Connor's staying out a long time, so I wonder if Connor maybe is waiting for this rain if we get it.
To be honest,
I don't know whether
really
we are
surprised
exactly or what.
Especially when Bennett was going up his inside, he would have lost so much time from trying to hold it around that side. In fact, yeah, he's lost about 4 or 5 seconds to Bennett in
lost
a lap.
Position now as well.
Yeah.
Rixie up to P7. Rixie driving a very good race, as we mentioned just a moment ago. And Dylan has now got a time penalty and is outside of 3 seconds to Brindy anyway.
Just the wall behind Connor. I think I just caught that.
Yeah, he's got a mad load of understeer through turn 7.
Right,
yeah, he's missing a front right end plate, James. But he's still going to go for the move on Connor. It's not going to put him off too much. They're going to go side by side through 8 and 9. Just about JH getting the move done. Getting the elbows out was the Red Bull driver, and that's allowed ERM Massey as well to get past him. Both Massey and JH both missing their front right end plates, funnily enough.
Yeah, that was scary. I was on board with JH, and it looked like he was about to lift off into the, I don't know, into the sky. I think that's the only place you can lift off. James, nice one, but yeah.
JH has completely just lifted off and is now pitting. Connor as well follows him in.
And
so Connor, JH and Liam all hitting.
Oh, Dylan picked up a pen as well. I think we might have missed that. If you mentioned it, I forgot that.
No, I did just say it. But yeah, so Dylan not only outside of 3 seconds, but also with a penalty. But at the moment, that shouldn't affect him too much as checks 3.5 back. And Bennett is still ahead of Bunny, but Bunny has closed that gap down to his credit. It was around 2 seconds when Bunny came out of the pits, but he is on 2 lap fresher tyres than the Alfa Romeo driver. So that's always the price you pay with going for an undercut, is you do have older tyres. Liam has pitted for his second stop. Gone to the softs though, which definitely won't make it to the end from here. I was going to say it is about the second pit window for the mediums, if you're doing softs, mediums. As we've got a couple of drivers again picking up penalties. It's weird, James, because it seems as though it's the same drivers picking up multiple penalties, as opposed to penalties being spread out throughout the field. As Bunny has gotten past Bennett, Bunny on 50% battery, Bennett on 30, so it does kind of make sense. Bunny kind of weaving down the straight. I wonder if he's got a bit of tyre temp issues or something.
He keeps doing that.
Yeah, I noticed when he got past Connor, he did it as well. I think it was Connor.
Yeah.
But yeah, this top 6 now really starting to spread out, or top 4 definitely, or top 3, sorry. Bennett and Bunny are 4th and 5th, and Bennett's starting now already to drop off the back of Bunny. I wonder if the mediums, the mediums probably will start to go off a little bit at this point. If they are going on to another set of the yellow wall tyres, they should be looking to pit around now, or at least in the next few laps. Riggsy's starting to close that gap down to McEwen as well, so he's definitely still in with a shot of a top 5 finish. Got a little bit of battling going on behind. We've got Morgan on 19 lap old mediums, who's still not in the session actually, weirdly enough. Has just been passed by Liam on his fresh softs, and now Carlin has as well gotten past his disconnected teammate. He's on 12 lap old mediums himself. JH down the inside of Predators into the hairpin.
We haven't mentioned Sam actually for a little while, but
We haven't.
It
Here
looks
he is.
like he's in a pretty good position. He pitted 6 laps ago. He's got much fresher medium tyres than the guys in front of him, and I should think he'll be going on to softs at the end of the race. So I don't want to speak too soon, but he should be knocking towards the top 5. Obviously, he's got a time penalty, but which a couple of guys in front of him don't have. But
one as well, I think.
But yeah, he's gone about his business nicely after a disappointing Q1 exit, and seems to be one of the quickest guys out on track at the moment.
Yeah, driving a decent race. As well, everyone is, at least to a degree. In terms of, we've got no retirements yet, although of course Morgan's car has been an AI for most of the race, but we haven't had anything too major in the way of incidents just yet.
Still
the top 7, 8, 9, 10 all staying out for another lap. Could we see some of these guys looking at going onto the softs at the end of the race? Do you think? Bunny has well, he's flown away from Bennett since getting past him, and now, as you say, Bennett falling into the clutches of McEwen in the Haas by the looks of things. Of course, the one thing that does play to Bennett's advantage is he is yet to receive a time penalty. Czech as well, starting to close that gap down a little bit to Dylan, although it's been around 3.5 seconds for a while now. But if he does get within 3 seconds of Dylan, Bennett, Czech, will move up a place come the end of the race, should he of course not get a penalty himself. McEwen gained a bit into the braking zone, but had a little bit of a squirmy exit out of the hairpin. And, well, I was going to say he'll struggle to get past Bennett, but he's got a brilliant run on him. He's going for it down the inside into the hairpin. Bennett backs out. Good move from McEwen up into P5.
Oh, Sam get past clock as well. That was a lot more comfortable than it looked like it was going to be, though. Just that little burst of the battery that he put on at the end was enough to make it quite comfortable in the end. But yeah,
well, I wasn't
smart
driving as well from Bennett, though.
Yeah, it was.
Bennett
I wasn't looking forward to a side-by-side through the final chicane. So yeah, thankfully for us and for them, Bennett backed out. And yeah, as I say, Sam now right on the back of his teammate as well. So it could be 2 and 2 laps here. Or
yeah, he's on 6 lap fresher tyres than his teammate as well, James. Who I'd imagine should be looking to pit fairly soon. Of course, we still don't know if this rain's coming or not. In fact, he lets him through, so there you go. Good team orders there from the McLaren. Of course, Massey is a reserve, but you know, nevertheless, driving a good race and thoroughly deserves to get some points. Whether he does or not, we'll obviously have to wait and see. Liam had just gotten past Predators there in the battle for P15. He's on 4 lap fresher softs, so that's not terribly surprising. Bennett has just about managed to stay up with McEwen, although he does seem to be kind of falling down a little bit ever since getting passed by Bunny. In fact, he is now over 4 seconds behind the Mercedes, who only a few laps ago he found himself ahead of. Brindy further extending his gap, nearly 5 seconds now out in front, and Czech has really closed that gap down to Dylan. There is Ranger in between them, so I wonder if Dylan has perhaps been held up slightly by the Haas driver, because Czech's gained, well, about 8 tenths since I last checked the gap, which was only a lap or 2 ago.
Here's the rain, Harry, that's why they all stayed out.
And here's the rain, that is why they all stayed out. The tyres can do, you know, they'll be fine in terms of wear, like we keep mentioning, but the grip will definitely be going, and now with the rain coming down, the track getting a bit greasy, a bit slippy, definitely rear tyres will be... Well, they'll be starting to lose a bit of grip. Ranger getting out of the way very nicely there for Czech. We've got yellow flag, but that's for Ranger. Sem is actually in a nice position. 9 lap old mediums, 4 laps fresher than anyone ahead of him, and that's only Bunny. Everyone else he's 6 or 7 laps fresher than. So Sem is in a very nice position because he will still have at least a bit more grip. I've just remembered the word. I was going to say grip's at a bit of a liberty now, I guess, at this point with the rear tyres. So yeah, some of these guys may be struggling a little bit, but with the rain coming now, they kind of had to leave it as long as possible. So I wonder if that is why perhaps Bunny stayed out a little bit longer than we would have advised him to, because he was anticipating the rain coming. Danny's picked to another penalty. Seems as though every time I look down at the penalties, it's him that's getting one, and he's lost the back end through turn 5. And he's just about held onto it, but he's got Guna right on the back of him, and it's definitely getting close to the inters, James, because when it starts raining, you cannot take turn 5 flat out, and Danny's found that out the hard way by the looks of things.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to have to.
Brindy
in the pits, yeah, look at it, they're all struggling. Guna's in the wall through turn 9. Hitting his front wing. I wonder if he got a bit of damage. Just couldn't slow the car down at all there, James. They're all in the pits, like you say. Yeah, look at this. They're tiptoeing round. Oh my God! Look at Clock and Massey. God, they're going so slowly.
Not taking any risk.
This is going to get a bit messy. Yeah, they're going to have to be careful into the pits, like you say, because
we're going to have a stack of McLaren.
They're going to. Oh no! I can. Oh, okay. I was worried they were all going to hit the back of one of them. Massey gets a penalty for speeding into the pits. That's a real shame for him, and they are going to have to stack a little bit at least at McLaren. Just about avoided a stack at Renault as Riggsy just got out of his pit box. And Bennett's on the hards! Bennett's on the hards, James! Massive blunder from the Alfa Romeo team. They put their man out on the hard compound tyres, and that is Bennett's race, or at least his chance of the points, all but over.
Check had a big moment there out of turn 4. That's not
turn 4, the sort of mistake you just can't afford to make in a field as close as this one. It's a real shame for Bennett, who had been driving a pretty tidy race, but that's his chance of points all but gone now as Sem just slides on through there pretty easy. Or well, I say Sem, Bennett's the one doing the sliding. Sem gets on through there pretty easy. Brindy Boy now 7 seconds ahead. So minus any sort of big blunder from him, I think he should be good. Riggsy's picked up a penalty as well of sorts. I don't know whether that was speeding the pits or what. But we know Riggsy likes the wet conditions, James.
Limits 3 seconds.
So I wonder if this can perhaps play into his hands a bit, as he's seemingly closed that gap down to McEwen, albeit only by a couple of tenths at that. And now Bunny's got a penalty, so there we go. Everyone in the top 7 has a penalty. Everyone in the top 10 will have a penalty once Bennett is pitted for the inters. Real shame for Bennett. Yeah, I don't know. Real shame for him.
Danny
whether that was
could be
his doing or what. Yeah, Danny on what? Not quite. Danny as well does have a lot of penalties, if I recall. He seems to be picking up one every time I look down.
Yeah, he's got 18 seconds.
Check. Excuse me, who it is with the penalty. And Brindy's just flying away, James. The gap's now up to 8.8. It's just climbing and climbing and climbing. If you look in the top left, it's going up a tenth at a time almost. It's up to 9 seconds now. Yeah. And Czech's also got a penalty, so it means that at least as far as I'm concerned, he won't get that position back on Dylan.
Yeah,
I'm not going to look at. Oh, right. Well, I was going to say I wasn't going to look at the.
No, I haven't looked. I can just
the
remember.
exacts of the penalties. But there we go.
No, I think Dylan's just struggling with the no traction. I don't want to speak for him, obviously, but I feel like this might be one of the first times that he's run no traction in the wet, and yeah, he seems to be struggling quite a lot with that. His checks closing up a lot more, though there was Morgan's AI in the way.
Got some inside info on Bennett. Owen says that Bennett claims he selected the inters. Now there is, I think, a glitch that it does put you on the hards when you select inters. Whether it is a glitch or whether it's just a bit of a driver error and he was just trying to play it off, I don't know. But yeah, either way, it's really unlucky for Bennett. I mean, I'm not going to blame him too much.
Might still get a point if he's lucky as well, with penalties, of course, come to play. The highest placed driver without a penalty is Connor in 12th, which is pretty crazy to think about.
I said Riggsy likes the wet, James, and he's now only 4 tenths off the back of McEwen. Riggsy flying in these conditions, and yeah, Czech closing right up to the back of Dylan, as you say, who
We
does
might
seem
see
to
a
be
move here
struggling.
from Riggs.
I think we might, maybe not into the hairpin,
Yeah,
but
it will
maybe
be into
coming
the
out of
hairpin.
it, you never know.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, he had a little look. I think he thought about it, but he braked rather early compared to the Haas driver. Can he get the run out of the hairpin? It looks pretty good, although McEwen, not bad either. Don't think he's going to be quite close enough on this occasion. No, he's not, but Riggsy...
We can hit the wall.
Clouting the wall of champions there.
And... It's kind of
Danny
hard to
as
tell
well
with
on the back of plot.
the shadows, not the shadows, the sort of dark brightness.
Oh, is he's hit
The
the
rain.
wall of champions as well?
Yeah, I can't
We've
tell
got
if he's
two
got damage or not, I
Renaults,
don't think it is.
two Renaults right on the back of a couple of drivers here, so these are the closest battles on track. Riggsy is all over the back of McEwen, but it's difficult in the wet. You've got to be considerably faster than the driver ahead, it seems, to actually get the overtake done, as you kind of can afford to be a bit slower than someone in the wet, because it is a bit more difficult to overtake. But Riggsy is looking quick. I feel if he can get past McEwen, well, the gap's just under 3 seconds to Bunny. It'll be interesting to see whether he can close that up or not, because after that, Bunny's about 9 seconds off the back of Czech, who is now right on the back, or nearly right on the back of Dylan. The gap is now under a second for the first time since, whoa, it must be lap 7 or something. The Ferrari is within a second of Dylan. Unfortunately, not going to get the benefit of DRS. We've got yellow flags. Ranger's retired. He's crashed on the exit of the final corner in his car. He's in a very strange position there, sort of up in the air or something. I don't know. We got yellow flags. That should be a safety car, but I'm not sure it's going to be by the looks of things. No, it is not. I mean, yeah, IRL, that's a safety car, but
It's probably...
yeah,
that's
the help of the teleportation system, nothing to worry about.
unfortunate for Anger. I'm sure that's not what he would have been hoping for on his return, but he should promise, didn't he, in
Had a good
qualifying?
quali.
But yeah, despite not
Yeah.
playing the game for a while, he looked quick in quali, so I'm sure he'll take some positives from that. And it looked like he was having a good race early on as well. So
Another penalty for Danny.
shit,
He's gonna drop back maybe
might get disqualified
5 or
this
6
straight,
positions.
which would
Well,
be
yeah. It'd
very,
be a shame.
very
It'd be a
unfortunate.
shame. Because he's driving a good race. Up
Only
to
two
P9,
drivers
but
still in the race
get
without
that time,
penalties
man.
now. Right? Of course, one of them's Predators. That's almost
And
something you
Morgan,
can.
but he's not in the
Well,
race.
yeah,
like you
two
said.
drivers in the race.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get any overtakes unless people make mistakes. 'Cause it's just so difficult to get past in the wet, isn't it? Briggs has been knocking on the door for quite some time now, pretty much ever since it got wet enough for the Inters. He's been knocking on that door to try and get past
I'll
McEwen.
tell you what, Sem's about to be knocking on the door as well, because
Yeah,
he's
he is.
leaning on Riggsy and McEwen. Riggsy, I think, kind of sensing that and had a little look down the inside into turn 1, but nothing doing. It's one of those, I always find when you've got a driver closing in on you from behind, it does always kind of rush you into going for the move. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen to Riggsy, but it does sometimes end up meaning you go for a bit of a rash move down the inside or whatever. But Riggsy's a level-headed driver, so I doubt we'll see anything too silly from him. But yeah, he's now right. Well, he's got Sem right on the back of him. Sem's actually now closer to Riggsy than Riggsy is to McEwen, but it does just prove how difficult it is to overtake, because Riggsy does seem to be a lot faster than the Haas driver, it has to be said.
The craziest thing about this is the fact that the gaps between all the drivers are so big that despite only two drivers not having penalties, two drivers in the race not having penalties, neither of them are going to gain any position from this, I don't think. Connor might gain one from Danny, but yeah, apart from that, they're not going to gain anything really without unless it's a safety car, and I think this is lap 32, about only.
Oh, here we go,
chance
this
we're
could
gonna
be
get
it.
for one.
Oh, not quite. I thought it was going to be it from Riggsy. He looked close, but again, just can't quite get it. Can't quite get alongside. We got Dylan now almost 17 seconds behind the Williams of Brindy Boy. So we said it would happen. We tipped him for pole. We tipped him for the win, and unless really anything goes horribly wrong for him, he should be 2 for 2 on poles and wins. And what about fastest lap? Who's got the fastest lap? Just to check. It was Ranger. So it's not going to be 2 for 2 on everything for Brindy, but I'm sure he won't be complaining too much. 33, lap 33 now. Just beginning as Riggsy makes a bit of a mistake out the hairpin. This could give Sem a run into the chicane, and it looks as though he might try it here, the McLaren driver. Not going to be close enough. Can't quite get it done. And Riggsy just about staying ahead. There we go. If you look on the left hand side of the screen there, we've got the positions up for you. Sem up 12. He's gained the most. So if you'd like to think about putting in your votes for driver of the day, it would be much appreciated. I think again there's kind of two standout candidates for me. Sem's had a good recovery, and of course Brindy, who again has dominated for the second week in a row. You just can't do it, James. Riggsy still, he's been within half a second of McEwen for about the last 5 laps, but you just can't get him, can he?
No, I've kind of stopped watching it, to be honest, because I can't see a move happening. I've been trying to see if there's any other battles going on. The AlphaTauri's a little bit of a scrap for a couple corners, and then that gap's just grown massively. But no, it's just so difficult to overtake in the wet, isn't it? I'm so glad we haven't had 30 laps of rain and then 5 dry at the end, because it would have been a pretty boring procession for 30 laps. But they're giving it the best shot. Riggs has been pushing McEwen around for as long as the track's been wet. But yeah, just not enough.
They're coming up to Morgan's AI, which could throw a bit of a spanner into the works.
I think I saw some of it. It said you have to be like 2 seconds quicker than the guy in front in the wet to overtake. That might have been obviously for real life Formula 1, but I guess it's going to work. 2
seconds is a lot, but it's
going to work in the same way in the game, isn't it? You're going to need to be substantially quicker than the guy in front. As Riggs, it's twitchy.
Sem's been completely shafted by Morgan's AI there as well. Yes, so it's a shame for Riggsy, a little bit. I mean, it's fair play to McEwen. He's been defending well, and you know, he's just not quite given Riggsy a chance really to go for any sort of move. But McEwen's really not dropped off from Bunny, so you'd think that if Riggsy he's going for it now, by the looks of things, even if he got it done, it would have been too little too late, I fear. But yeah, I think Riggsy could have maybe closed up to Bunny a bit. Again, I don't really know the penalty situation, so whether it would have been in vain or not, I don't know. Yeah, he's got no battery left now as Riggsy anyway, so I don't think he's going to do it, as we have now started the final lap. Yeah, he's not going to do it, is he? I'll go away from it. They'll probably get the move done. There we go. We'll head to Bennett, who's now right on the back of Connor. And he's got a throttle glitch, so we won't.
I don't think.
Only another penalty. God, he must be close.
Bennett might get close to the points, but I don't think he's quite going to get any, which is unfortunate. Obviously, being put on the hards pretty much ended his race, didn't it? But yeah, I mean, it has to be said, another dominant drive.
He's coming now down the back straight. Yeah, Brindy. We didn't expect him to win by 20 odd seconds this week. We did last week, but a late safety car scuppered that. But it is going to be 2 for 2 on absolutely dominant drives from the Williams driver. It's pole and the win for the second week in a row for Brindy Boy. Brilliant drive from him. Another 25 points and extending his championship lead. But not by as much as you might think, because his championship rival, or his at least most direct championship rival, SLR Dylan, is going to come home P2. It might go to P3 after penalties. Has he crossed the line now? Yes, it is. So check this out. Good drive from him. P2 in the end. Dylan is third. Bunny comes home P4 with McEwen in P6. But Riggsy does get the Haas driver in the end on penalty. So P5 for Riggsy. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. Sem from the back gets P7. So good recovery from Sem. Clock into the points in P9 it is, as Guna's now up to P8. Massey on debut should be getting a point, I think, in P10, as Danny had, let's see, how many penalties?
Like 24 seconds, I think it was.
Oh, we can't even see anymore. Connor across the line gets P11. Bennett P12 with his throttle glitch, which is great. JHP 14. Predator's going to be the last driver to cross the line in P15, but it's 2 for 2 on dominant drives from Brindy. I'm sure you'll be pleased with that one, James. Fellow Williams driver on the top step yet again.
Well, yeah, hard not to be, but no, I mean it would be the same for anyone. To be honest, it was a fantastic drive, and if that had been a Ferrari or a Renault or whatever, then it would have been the same. You've got to tip your hat to him, because yeah, that outstanding performance, had the pace in the dry and had the pace in the wet as well. So yeah, complete performance once again. We haven't really had any votes for driver of the day. I think Zydra said Sam if he kept P7, and
P7. That was kind of it.
I'm kind of tempted to go with Sam from the back of the grid, because I mean Brindy Boy obviously had another dominant drive, didn't he? But I feel like Sam moving up all those positions was another worthy performance. Although Dingle Dolphin says Connor and Predators for no penalties, which, I mean, yeah, that is true, but I mean, neither of them score points.
Don't really matter.
Yeah,
yeah,
really
they
matter.
don't really mean anything.
Connor would rather have 9 seconds of penalties and finishing the points than none and finish 11th. But I mean, that's still a valid point. No penalties is pretty impressive, especially around a track like Canada. But I think we're going to give it to Stem Harrier. I don't know about you, but it's him or Brindy.
There's not really been any votes. So no. the only real vote by the looks of things was for Sem. So yeah, Sem gets driver of the day from P19. He comes home in P7, but it was Brindy Boy. Second week in a row with the victory. Check this out, comes home P2 for Ferrari, and Dylan third for Mercedes. We'll hopefully get those three in for interviews shortly. That's your cue, James, to get them in.
Yeah, I've invited them, mate. I'm on it.
Alright. So yeah, Bunny P4, so good points from Mercedes, third and fourth for them. Ricci gets P5 in the end for Renault, I'm sure. Like I say, he'll be pleased with that drive, up 4 from where he started. McEwen P6 in the Haas, again more points for him, so pretty good effort there. As we say, Sem was P7, it was Guna in P8, so more points again for the Red Bull driver. Clock comes home P9, and on debut, ERN Massey with P10. He drove a good race, did Massey. Seemingly got a little bit unlucky later on, I think.
Got held up, didn't he? And
in the pits behind Sem. So yeah, he kind of drove almost a better race than perhaps the result says, but I'm sure a few others did. Starting now to get the podium finishers into the party. So as usual, I'll congratulate you on your drives again. Great performance from the top 3, and I'll hand it over to James to conduct the interviews.
Alright then, just remember to tick your boxes please guys, and we'll get underway. We'll start off with third place driver today, which was of course SLR Dylan from Mercedes. P2 in quality dropped down to third in the race in the end after penalties, but on the whole looked like a pretty solid drive. Didn't quite have the pace it looked like to keep up with Brindy, but yeah, just talk us through how the race was for you.
Yeah, like I said, I think from the get-go, it was Brindy for race to lose. It didn't. I mean, fair play to him and Jack as well. Yeah, I mean, tried to keep up with him throughout the first 2 stints. It was hard to keep the tires in the mediums. I was sliding over the place. Renker probably saw that from behind. Then a rain hit, and I got damaged like 2 to 3 laps into the rain. So I was like, well, it's a third maximum unless Jack's got a pen, but he didn't. So I mean, third place is alright. After some, well, bad races, I say that like that.
Well, I mean, third place in the end, obviously losing out a few more points to Brindley Boy in the championship, but you're still well and truly in the fight. So, yeah, I guess you just gotta take the positives from that performance and fully focus on next week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't practice that much this race, and it kind of helped me. So, well, might as well just do for trials as well.
Well,
We'll see.
Yeah, good drive, return to the podium, of course, after a difficult race last week. So, yeah, well done, congratulations. So then, second place going to, check this out, for Ferrari. Another strong result this season from yourself, Czech, and yeah, beating Dylan in the end on penalties. I'm sure you'll be quite happy with that because, yeah, as we mentioned a second ago for Dylan, really just a bit out of reach there, you've got to say.
Yeah, like Dylan said, it was Brindley's race to lose. He just had unreal pace today, so congrats to him. Yeah, just tried. I saw Dylan had 6 seconds, and I just tried to keep his in 3 second window, and was on 2 warnings coming in for the last 5 laps. So very steady, but yeah, I'm happy. Had a good qualifying and good start. No damage, no real mistakes. So yeah, I'm happy with P2 again. So yeah.
Yeah, well, another very solid result, edging yourself closer towards the championship fight. Obviously, Brindley gaining more points, but you never know. A few good tracks coming up for you potentially.
I'm more looking forward to the second half of the season, but we'll see. Canada was probably my weakest track, and I came P2, so we'll have to wait and see.
All right then. Well done once again on P2, and we will now round off with your race winner. Back-to-back poles, back-to-back race wins, and back-to-back dominant drives from Brindley Boy. Yeah, led from start to finish really, apart from the pit stops, of course. But yeah, another fantastic result, and just talk us through your race.
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't as easy as it looked, to be honest. Dylan and I had really similar pace on the first 2 stints, so I was kind of trying to hold him back a little bit, and he wouldn't leave me alone. So it was a bit about sort of trying to not get penalties, which is really difficult to do around Canada. And I picked up my 3 sec, and then I think Dylan spotted that and tried to catch me down a little bit. And then I spotted a few laps later that he picked up one as well, so the pressure was off a little bit. But yeah, really happy with my pace in qualifying and in the race. Obviously, as I say, my dry stints probably could have been a little bit better, but I'm happy with them either way. And then when the rain came, I was really sort of happy with my pace with that because, well, ever since I've turned off no traction, I've actually really enjoyed racing in the wet. So I've really enjoyed the wet stint at the end.
Well, it was back-to-back race wins, of course. So, gotta say, what are your hopes for the season? Because obviously taking a massive stride in the last few weeks. And yeah, pace just seems to have stepped up a lot. So you've got to say, championship's got to be an aim now, surely.
I don't know. I think we're getting more towards the halfway point now. So I honestly can't say yet. I mean, I'm obviously always going for the championship. I think everyone always is, but I'm hoping to sort of keep up my pace. But I know Baku and Canada are 2 sort of really good tracks for me, so I'm not sure I'll be able to carry it throughout the rest of the season. But you know, we'll see. I'm going to give it my all. So.
Yeah, well said. All right then, Harry. I think, yeah, just once again, congratulations to the top 3 and Brindley Boy on the win. But yeah, I think that does us for the interviews this week. Harry, if you want to round us out as usual.
Yeah, another great race. Division 1 never fails to disappoint, or at least this season it hasn't as of yet, so touch wood that will continue. We head to France for the next round of the season, kicking off the European section. Are we going to see more of the same? Only time will tell. Be sure to join us throughout the rest of the weekend for the various other races. Division 2 and 3 tomorrow, and then Elite on Friday. No F2 again next week, but like I say, we will be back kicking off France, for Division 1. Thank you all for watching, and good night.